Here we go. We're gonna do a show now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to the show live. It is early in the morning. Hope you got out of bed. And I'm just gonna say, hey, morning geeks. How you doing? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think Magazine put in a geek. You got me, and you got Geekazine. How's it been going? Hopefully you had a great week. I know I've had a great week. Lots of cool stuff. My throat, every time I start the show, my throat starts to do that. So let me just clear that out really quick. There we are. So how you doing? It's been a great week for me. Lots of cool stuff. Been doing lots of reviews, of course, finishing up all the videos from the NAB, National Association of Broadcasters. Some cool gear for you. And, of course, testing out some new gear. This week, my new gear for this week is this little puppy right here. This is called, let me see if I do this. This is called the 360 Fly. And what it is a 360 degree camera. It's not a full, it's 360 degrees is basically all around you, not up and down. So anything up and down is extra. But this captures the top, doesn't capture the bottom. So it's an interesting camera. I like it, but then I don't like it. There's a lot of things I don't like. For instance, right now, this is on its cradle. And the cradle, even though it's a magnetic cradle, it has this locking mechanism, and all these other attachments have locking mechanisms. The docking cradle doesn't. So if I wanted to put this onto a tripod or anything like this, this is just way too removable, even though the magnet does hold it down pretty well. So if I wanted to continuously charge this thing, I could, but it's going to be tougher to do. I'll have to tape down everything. Other things, it does have a microphone port, and I thought there was going to be a tether option, so I could tether my attachments, my connections to the camera, because there was like this little tether cable. But apparently the plug of the tether cable is what makes this waterproof, because it plugs up the mic hole, and of course when you plug up the mic hole, you can't hear anything. So if you just want video and no audio, then that's it. If you want audio, you have to make sure that's unplugged. The other thing is it's got a 32 gigabyte internal card in here, which is nice. It'll record about an hour or two worth of video if the battery holds up. But then that's pretty much it. You have to then race to get this stuff off instead of pulling a card out, putting a new card in, and going from there. It's nice. And it does the job, but I'm not 100% impressed with it. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to do some more testing with it, but that's basically the geek review for this week. I also, it was also a very late night, as last night I went to see with Jennifer the late night version of course, Captain America Civil War. Now, there's no spoilers in here, so don't worry. I'm not going to spoil anything. What I will say is this. We went to the IMax, and of course in Madison, we don't have a full IMaX, which means that it's not the full-size IMaX. It's like a half size or a quarter. It's like a proportion size IMaX, which does tend, even though everybody, it's IMaX. It's not a great screen. And of course, it's an older screen, which has older chairs. It doesn't have the Dream recliners in it. So that was tougher. I actually had some back problems, and I had to, there were other seats in the back side, which I ended up going to because I just couldn't sit in those seats anymore. But the real question is, do you want to see this in IMaX, or would a regular theater be? Because there's actually an extra 15 minutes worth of footage in the IMaX, and of course it's in 3D, and I'm not a big fan of 3D, never have been. And the IMaX, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much all the IMAXs. When it comes to the 3D, it's screen to back, which means that you get to feel that everything will stop at the screen. It won't pop out at you, but it'll then go backwards. So you get that 3D experience within the screen. Now, they also use the IMax ARRI, ARRI 2D cameras, and they actually put in an extra 15 minutes of footage. So if you went to a non-AMC IMaX movie of this, you wouldn't see that extra footage. But within, you do see it. It's basically a fight scene. We won't get too much into it, but the whole point is that they wanted to show off the new camera, the bigger range. So they said something about expanding the screen, because they talked about it right before the IMaX, before the movie started. So ultimately, my problem with it was the first 15 minutes when it came to 3D, because they got, when you got shaky cameras, and you're trying to get that, that shaky camera look like The Office or something like that, doing it in 3D gets tougher, especially if you're not on the right frame rate, because they're doing, I think it's like 24 frames a second. Maybe they're doing 30, but they need to do 60 to 120 frames a second in scenes like that, because it was just like, it was jumping everywhere in the 3D. You could actually see the separation in the 3D during the fight scenes. It was very frustrating the first 15 minutes, but then it got away from that. And I was really happy about that, as they put stable scenes, just kind of like this one, where it doesn't move around, there's no shaking, there's no handheld shake on it or anything like that. And then I really could get into the movie. But if that would have been like that the whole movie, I would have been like, okay, this is horrible. Simple as that. So that is my non-spoiler review. It's a great movie overall. A little bit long for, because we got out of the theater about late last night. So it was crazy. Got home and then of course couldn't fall asleep right away. So here I am. Morning, geeks. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on Civil War here. You can tweet me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Facebook.com/Geekazine, where the show resides every single morning. We will refresh the page just to make sure we've got a few people watching right now. Thank you very much. We also got some comments from last week's show. Thank you very much to Sean, and thank you very much to Tom. That rhymed. That's cool. Tom and Sean, thank you very much for your comments on that. Of course, we talked about Snapchat, and they said, Snapchat should be held accountable. So let me know what you think. You can always Twitter me. You can always Facebook me. You can always email me. You can always drink some coffee with me. So let's drink some coffee right now, and then we're going to get into the news. All right, let's get into some news here. We've got to close this out first. Hold on. There we go. Seth MacFarlane is tasked by Fox to make a sci-fi TV show. Now, the TV show will be set 300 years into the future as we follow interstellar fleet called the Orville. Now, if this is a comedy, then I'm wondering if this ship is going to look a lot like like a Jiffy Pop type container. I wouldn't be surprised, if it's a comedy though. But we'll see what happens. Of course, they're still working on the pilot, and then of course they're gonna have 13 episodes ready for your viewing pleasure by 2017 this season. So we'll see what happens and go from there. All right, next up on Monday, May 9th, Mercury and Venus will both pass between the Earth and the Sun. It'll take about 7 hours for both planets to pass, so you will be able to see it on a clear night. Well, unless you live in Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, or the Philippines. I guess that's what happens when you're 12 hours ahead of everybody else. There's also a meteor shower that's happening, and I just learned about that this morning. And I'll get more details, and I'll let you know over on Geekazine.com. How cool is this? You're not seeing the animated GIF that I saw, but somebody took a bookshelf and they put a whole bunch of LED lights. They turned it into a big snake game. You know, that game that you used to play before you had a smartphone, the regular Nokia snake game where the little snake, you'd eat the little pill and get a little bit larger, eat the pill a little bit larger until you pretty much collapsed upon yourself. Anyway, so the green lights get longer when it comes across boxes of blue and red, and pretty cool. It's a nice little geeky way for somebody. So it looks like standard, Walmart or IKEA shelving right there, and LED lights, probably a Raspberry Pi right behind it, or something similar to that. Let's move on here. Of course, I was a big fan of the Power Rangers back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. You know, I think Power Rangers not only jumped the shark, I think they actually became sharks for a little while. They might have. Yeah, they actually did come. Yeah, they were sharks for a little while. So, anywho, I suppose reboots must happen, but the best part is they are going back to the old original series, the series that I really enjoyed and got behind. And I think that was mostly because of the music. I've always said, because it was always the same structure, you know. We had some funny interaction, and then Rita Repulsa would get upset and send down a monster. They'd fight and lose, and then they'd regroup, and then they'd come back. Everybody would get humongous, and they'd have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers song, which I always kind of got my blood going. And I think that's the key right there, is that blood going. So if the new movie has the exact same song, and of course they're going to have Rita Repulsa in there, who'll be played by Elizabeth Banks. It should be an interesting movie and might be worth my money, but we'll see what the preview does. And by the way, David Yost, Billy the Blue Ranger, will not be in it. He'll actually be played by R.J. Seiler. So, you know, Billy the Blue Ranger was one of those people that kind of stayed past his prime on the Power Rangers show. But anyway, if you want to check that out, we've got that link in the show notes. You can check that out there. Now, while this pizza is not really edible, I still want it. And this and other food items that they showed off. It was created by Terry, T-A-R-Y, is a Japanese Lego sculptor. Hamburgers, ice cream cones, half-peeled bananas, sushi with chopsticks. There are only a few parts to this fabulous art, which we've got over, and you can see over on Colossal.com. And then finally, let's check out what's going on over at Netflix for this week. This week we've got Chelsea, which is Netflix's first talk show. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. I mean, how do you binge watch a talk show? Are they going to do all the episodes, or are they going to do a weekly episode, or whatnot? But it'll be interesting to see. And of course, Chelsea Handler is the host of Chelsea, and it premieres, of course, May 11th, which is next Tuesday to next Wednesday, something like that. I can't remember. Today's the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, next Wednesday. So it'll probably be a weekly talk show, and might be something like more set with instead of guests like a Stephen Colbert or a Tonight Show or something like that, probably have a little bit more structure, like Last Night with John Oliver or Comedy Central. I can't think of this. This is right off the top of my head. Man, it was a late night last night. So anyway, that's coming to Netflix. Nothing new. New movies and stuff like that coming to Amazon and Hulu, but it's nothing original content, and that's what we were trying to go for here. It's Ghosts, Deadpool, and X-Men all on new to this week. Who are you gonna call? Apparently not the people who made this trailer. The Ghostbusters trailer has become the most hated trailer on YouTube. 30 million views and almost 700,000 dislikes to 227,000 likes. But the real question is if those dislikes would be turned into cash at the box office. I mean, let's face it, the movie just got 10 times more interesting for some. Rotten Tomatoes is giving it a plus 95% want to see rating. Did Han shoot first? That's what Paul Blake, actor who played Greedo, says. Of course, we know that Han shot first. Greedo already said he wanted Solo dead, so we shot him. And he'd do it again if he was so inclined. First details for the shooting location for the next Star Trek show surface. Trekkies will trek to Toronto this fall to maybe get a glimpse of the new show. Everyone else will have to trek to CBS.com and pay the $5.99 a month fee to watch the completed weekly episodes. But the real question is, will you pay the $5.99 a month fee, or will you wait to just binge watch the whole season when it's over? I guess I'm not getting CBS.com pay app until 2017. In preparation for the new X-Men Apocalypse movie, Marvel is releasing quick featurettes showing the Four Horsemen. This week is Angel, played by Ben Hardy, and Storm, played by Alexandria Shipp. X-Men Apocalypse releases May 27th. And that lovable Deadpool is back in DVD and Blu-ray form. Deadpool is coming to your home entertainment system on May 10th. May the Deadpool be with you. Wait, no, there has to be something that works with May 10th and Deadpool. Maybe how it took Ryan Reynolds 10 years to actually get Deadpool out there. Yeah, that's it. And that's new to this week. All right, let's get back into the this week's news. Is YouTube planning a $35 a month subscription TV service? Crazy! Yes, they are. This would actually include networks. This is actually a regular service. So instead of your cable, you'd actually go through YouTube to get your TV channels, such as CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. No word if it's going to be local affiliates or if it's going to be something international, which would be interesting. It'd be nice to actually have a CBS channel that didn't have local news on it, but international news. But I'm hoping that, of course, that keeps sustainability in the area, so you could actually watch news. But it would be nice to actually watch Las Vegas news, or watch California's news, or watch New York's news, as well as Madison's news feeds through those same channels. But we'll see what happens there. You'll also get other channels. They haven't really released any lineups or anything like that, but I'm guessing if CBS is in there, Viacom's in there, if NBC's in there, the NBC channels are in there as well. Now, this is very similar to what Sling is doing right now. Sling, it's called Slingbox. You can get it. It's $20 a month, and you get channels like AMC, TBS, TNT. So you can really cut your cable, and even shows like this, which you might see on the Maker channel, because I'm a proud member of the Maker channel network. So they're not gonna offer a la carte options, but they're gonna offer smaller options. So you might, if you're not a sports person, maybe they'll have a package without ESPN or Fox Sports or anything on there. If you're more into political stuff, maybe you'll have a CNN package, CNN and MSNBC and all those other news channels. And if you are a sports fan, maybe you will get the sports channels. But we'll see what happens. It's all going to start at $35 a month, which is a lot less than your cable bill sometimes. So, but only Hulu Plus. If only Hulu Plus saw what's going on and actually said, "Hey, you know, maybe we should start thinking about doing this and get into that game." Something to think about there. So anyway, finally, this is a awesome game table. If you haven't seen this, check this out. It is a do-it-yourself project that all you need is an IKEA table and a Raspberry Pi computer. Of course, you also need the monitor and the joystick but for around $100, depending on, you know, the quality of your monitor and the quality of your devices and stuff like that. For around $100, you could, and a little bit of elbow grease, you could actually turn that table into a gaming system. So the Raspberry Pi, of course, playing multiple different games on there. She's playing Donkey Kong, so it's going to be a lot. It's probably going to be older games and stuff like that. But you know, I love myself some Donkey Kong every now and then. My favorite game of all time as a kid growing up was not one of the most famous games. It was actually a game called Sinister. And if you've never played Sinister, it's actually pretty simple. The object of the game is you're flying your spacecraft, you're shooting down these other ships, you're collecting these little blue pills, and then when you get so many blue pills, you go and you attack Sinistar, which is this big rock god that floats in space. And then you throw the little blue pills into his mouth. If you succeed, then he blows up. If you don't, then you have to go back and you have to shoot down some more ships, get some more blue pills, and it gets tougher and tougher as it goes. That was my favorite game growing up, and I can get it on the Atari pack, or one of the packs for my Xbox. But you know, being able to play it on a tabletop, you know, remember the tabletops? You know, now if you watch the show Undateable, you'll actually see a tabletop gaming system in the bar, but they're not using it as a gaming system. They're using it as a table, which is pretty cool. And of course, a lot of people do that. I remember going to Austin and checking, I think it was on 6th Street, on the other side of the highway, there was this one restaurant, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, they used gaming tables as regular tables to eat food on. Of course, the game, I don't even know if it had motherboard inside or anything like that, so or power for that matter. So no Donkey Kong or Pac-Man, but those are the table games. You used to sit there and go like this for hours. And then, of course, track and field, you'd have your comb so you could actually interweave it into your fingers. So you could go and hit the other button at the same time. That was pretty cool. And then they made these little shields so you wouldn't do that. So you wouldn't cheat. No cheating. But, we cheated anyway. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, thank you very much. That is this episode of Morning Geeks. My name is Jeffrey Powers. You can find me over at Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek. Thanks a lot for watching. I know this is like this slingshot. I work and work and work and work at the show all week. And then I do this show and it's just like, it's over? Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. So thanks to everybody that watched. Of course, if you have any comments, comment below on any of the items there, and we'll talk about it next week. If you got a geek picture, did you dress up for the 4th of July? Or not 4th of July. Yeah. Did you dress up for the 4th of July? It's not even 4th of July. Did you dress up for May the 4th be with you? That's it. Did you dress up for your Winter Soldier premiere? Let me know. Send me a picture. Tweet it over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com, and I'll put it on the show for next week. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. You guys geek out. We'll see you next time. And go see Winter Soldier. It is a great movie. So take care and see you next week.